All right, guys, welcome back. I'm gonna go ahead and transition this over. And how are you guys doing? We're going to be playing some Power and Revolution today, and I am also going to be talking about the brand new. I'm going to be talking about the brand new update for Power and Revolution. This is a huge one because there were yesterday there were about two pretty big updates in 24 hours. Now, whenever I say big, I'm not saying that like both of them were like large in terms of size. The first one that we had was called the update 6.91. So 2023 started off with update 6.90, and then the update that came out, which was, by the way, a week after the release, was update 6.91, and we will go through the changelog of that update. And then the second one was an update that was released about maybe a couple days after that, but it was released yesterday. This is update 6.92, and what update 6.92 did is that it finally, if you guys have been playing for the past couple of years, you'll notice that the game has had a issue with energy consumption. Energy consumption, essentially, as the game proceeds, what it ends up doing is that what the game ends up doing is that as the economy starts to grow, especially whenever you're playing as the larger countries like the United States, you end up having this issue where you have to build a hilarious amount of energy parks and nuclear power plants as the United States or China or anything like that. Mostly it's the larger economies, because the larger economies have a much more larger industrial capacity and service capacity. And so what ends up happening is that you end up having this 946 terawatt surplus in electricity. And then what happens then is that by maybe like the end of the year right here, you're going to be at like 200. So it was like, Jesus Christ, what is going on with my energy consumption? What I have noticed over the past year is that the energy consumption is a lot slower. So 946, 945. And I unfortunately did have to restart my game, so we're going to have to go through the presidential election again in this. 945... 944. Jesus Christ, we're going through a terawatt a day. Why are we going through a terawatt a day? I do not know the specifics of the... So here it is. So basically what I had... And I'm gonna check something real quick. I'm gonna make sure that you guys can actually hear me correctly. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, you guys can definitely hear me okay. If your economy's growing at, say, 5%, a 3 to 10% annual increase in energy consumption is not unreasonable. See, no, that's not the thing. It's that you were going beyond 10%. You were going at, like, I would say 30 to 60% energy consumption increase over the year. Whenever the economy, like, I grew my economy the last time I had a issue, and I need to do a calculus, and I'm actually going to start doing a lot of like gameplay research and everything with with what's his name, Crab Rangoon. Crab Rangoon is going to be helping me on the energy tutorial. And PTK, if the circle actually wants to make a little bit of contribution too, then definitely can do that. 5.06% annual growth, so I'm pretty sure we can go at maybe like an 8% growth rate over the past year. But if I actually have 5% growth, I can actually start to increase the industrial pollution tax, which I actually would like to do. Because we really need to start making an effort to fight climate change. I want to do the war one with you. Are you talking about the next military and foreign policy tutorial? So anyway, I got an email from him, and I was talking about it, and I said it's important to be aware that electricity consumption is rising permanently due to electrification of transportation. This may be what you have. Of course, you have a population. If your population or your economy raises, this makes electricity rise too. If you point out the specific incoherency, please send this to us. And so I sent them back, and I said the issue arises when the economy begins to grow. What ends up happening is that the electricity consumption grows so quickly that I'm unable to keep up, or it becomes very close. There used to be a graph available under production and consumption in the drop-down box and energy, so I can't really see where the issue is arising from or when most of this energy is being used at. I'm currently not subsidizing EV vehicles, but I did notice their growth without subsidies much slower in the 2023 edition. I also noticed that many players have the same issue and they're unable to keep pace, and their total electricity deficit becomes hundreds or even thousands of terawatt hours, even while creating energy parks. And then so he said, we are currently investigating the shortage issue. I invite you to wait until we complete this, probably a few days, not more. And then so he then sent me this a couple days later. And then he said, just to let you know, we have made another small patch today. This includes correction for the energy shortage. But what we are also going to be talking about is whenever he sent me the update list, and then we're going to talk about the update real quick. I think the type of industry matters too. Like if you tend to grow heavy or other energy heavy industries, I'm not sure the game is being all too unreasonable, but maybe I've had luck. No, that's the thing, is I do end up subsidizing. Like right here, I'm subsidizing an electronic component. So I should expect a increase to the energy consumption. What I'm talking about is that this is like it's not a gradual increase. It's like it doubles and doubles and doubles and doubles. So it's like and I've noticed people have this issue too. So I'm really not the only one. Can you smart PMCs now? What? Hell yes, I've been wanting that Geneva to-do list. Jesus Christ. Is this game more stable compared to older versions? Yeah, I would say so. can't wait to buy this game. I've been spending majority of my money on my campaign. Bro's gonna violate the FEC rules just to buy Power and Revolution. Not even FEC. It's like I don't know if there's like separate laws that have to do with like municipal elections. When is your election, by the way, Marcelo? I would like to maybe I can cover your election whenever it comes up. Do you know whether you're going to be able to win or not? What I'm also noticing, by the way, is, and I don't know how to feel about this. I'm kind of like, really? Essentially what happens is that as you kind of start to get more illegal immigrants, I think crime really starts to go up, and I noticed that. I believe I'm going to win. When is your election? And I'm actually going to pass an immigration reform real quick. We're going to call this the Immigration and Nationality Act. Limit or encourage illegal immigration. Acceptable quotas sets a precise number of illegal immigrants who can come to work in this country, which is immigrant. So it does not apply to family unification. So this is mainly for economics. Favor with higher qualification, voluntary families, illegal immigration, intend to enter the country in any way they can. I guess I'll leave that alone for right now. I don't want to go to siblings and parents because, again, that kind of really started the election is November 7th. All right. If you could add me on Discord, I would really like to discuss your campaign. And I don't want to go for this because I don't want to repatriate legal immigrants. I want to have a policy on the situation with illegal immigrants. Here, I will actually start to have a policy on the issuance of visas. And this is really what I want to figure out is a lot of the illegal immigration is coming from Mexico. And what I want to do is I want to stop the illegal immigration. I've tried the immigration agreement. That didn't work. It didn't even have a dent on it. And then so what I can do is that I can try to tightly control this with the quota from Mexico alone, but I don't want to do that because, number one, it would hurt our relations with each other, and I don't want to push Mexico away. Then on the other hand, it's only limiting legal immigration, and it's not really going to stop those coming in illegally. So it's like a double-edged sword whenever it comes to this, and I'm just having to regularize the situation. So I don't even think the issuance of visas is even going to stop it. We're gonna do the selective and controlled without quotas. Family unification. Just Solly. I'm not gonna touch just Solly. Because I think whenever you actually not go from like without conditions to not recognized, it's actually, it says regulating just Solely alters the count of immigrants in the country and impacts illegal immigrants who wish to benefit specifically from this right. Your Discord link is broken. Let me fix it for you. I actually just switched to a community server, so... People... And... BG's Discord link. I'm gonna post that updated link. Refresh the page and you should be able to see the new one. This aims to help legal immigrants to return to their country of origin with the end result of helping their country to develop their country. I also like how this actually has like an actual cost now. I remember this would actually like only cost like less than $100 million as like any country, even the United States, and it never made sense. Naturalization. So this is the other thing. So I actually changed this in the last one. Again, I did so much. I laxed my immigration laws so much, and I still could not make a dent in it. So I'm gonna email them actually, and I'm gonna be like, hey, like, I'm trying to figure this out and I can't, so policy. No right for foreign nationals to vote. I guess this will be the... We're gonna try a basic subsidy. We're gonna try it, and if it doesn't work, we're gonna repeal it. So we're gonna try the basic subsidy and see what that does to illegal immigration. Again, I really don't want to be sending back, like, incentivizing legal immigrants to go back. I could actually make up for it by signing immigration agreements with people for workers. So that could actually work. What I could actually test is that instead of doing it against Mexico, I'm gonna start limiting visa entries to Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua, and possibly even Costa Rica. I think that could actually be an attempt. I don't want to push these countries away, but I also don't want them to be sending so many people. So let's go to the United States. We're gonna look at our situation right here. And what I also need to do is that I also need to start building some detention centers as well. And then we can really start to process those that are coming. And then what I'm also going to do is we're going to consider the wall. Available treasury reserve. We're gonna pay for this all the way through. What's it doing? I don't know what it's doing right now. I mean, we could take 19 months for this thing to build. It's like, it won't be done until like 2025. Yeah, actually we could work that out. Can we legalize the funnies yet? No. All right, 19 months, $31 billion out of my treasury. We're gonna go ahead and build that wall. Yeah, I said it. Anything I say in this live stream does not replicate the views of Politics Gaming. Chief of Staff, hang on. Is the war still going on? Yeah. We're gonna do it funny. Help the Ukrainians out a little bit, and we're also gonna attempt to cybersecurity, military cyber attack. It was almost too easy anyway. We can have fun the whole time. They told me to return as fast as possible. With your permission, I'll remain in Moscow for a few days. There's some urgent business that requires my attention. Her name is Svetlana. And I would be the biggest moron alive if I refused to deliver assistance that her body demands. I didn't play this on Steam, so I have to take a picture of this with my fucking phone. Boom. I love anti-missile systems. What is the Crimea version called? It's just called Crimea Not Recognized. The only thing that kind of annoys me about this is that you can't change the name of the region. So if, like, Ukraine were to capture Crimea again and liberate Crimea, it would still be called Not Recognized. It's kind of like the same thing about Northern Cyprus. And I know this is more of a issue of like trying to show that these territories are not recognized by the United Nations, but it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
Work has already begun. I can assure you that this is a good initiative by building on this border because a large portion of illegal immigrants into the...
Did they add? Maple, I swear to God, I'm gonna unmod you. Yeah, no suburbs of Ukraine, of Kyiv. Boo, it says Kiev. Not playing anymore. I'm gonna buy Greenland. Wait, what's the popularity. I'm gonna do some funnies real quick. Do manipulation of social media and cyber attack preparation. Because we want to get their government's support as low as possible, and then that will be able to allow us to kind of like swoop in and get Greenland.
Duly noted. Copy that.
But what I also want to do is that I want to go over to country. I want to go to the annexation of a dependency, and I want to make Puerto Rico a state. I want to provide Puerto Rico with what it deserves. Oh my god, my military cyber attack. Wait, who resigned? The immigration situation literally keeps getting my DHS secretary to resign.
This theory.
The theory that says
Okay, before I meet with anyone, I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna go ahead and save this. That way, if I get caught, they don't get mad at me. That's new. Yeah, it is very new.
the theory that says if E1
Optic processor has been researched.
I'm listening carefully. How much would this aid amount to? Thank you for...
Might as well as annex Mexico. What you can do is that if you so choose, you can say, all right, Mexico, I want to do something even funnier than what I did in the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. And you're going to give me Baja California, or you can give me, where is it? Sonora. Which actually, that is going to be a thing that I'm going to do. There is going to be a gameplay where I am purchasing all of these territories, pay down the debt a little bit. Maybe in this gameplay I can do that. Pay down the debt, you know, to like $20 trillion. And then what I could do is that I can start to spend that money on buying what the territories I would buy. I would buy Sonora, Baja California Sur, and then I would go to Canada and I would ask them for British Columbia. And then I would also ask them for Yukon. Basically create some sort of like huge defense fortress for North America where I have all of this territory from Alaska all the way down to Baja California. And I mean, hell, I mean, I can start adding on to it. Say, I'm going to buy Sonora, Nayarit, Jalisco, Michoacan, Guerrero, Oaxaca, and then Chiapas. Literally just buy the entire western coast of Mexico. Massive protests right now in Mexico. I don't know what's going on. Ah! Lots of civil unrest around the world. Very much sure that 300,000 people would not be coming out and protest because of a little funny.
I'm listening carefully. How much? Thank you for your.
No. See, must be ideal. I don't get it. I'm like, you're a territory. You're supposed to do what I say. Have GDP growth spikes from trade agreements already been fixed? That's not going to get fixed. That's not a bug, unfortunately, because essentially what you're doing is that you have to. What is going on in Mexico? Essentially, what you have to consider whenever you're making contracts is you have to take into account the size of your economy. If I have $26 trillion, okay, no, I'll actually make the math a little more simple. Because I suck at math too. What you have to consider is that if I'm playing a country with a $1 trillion GDP, say Turkey, for example, and I sign a $100 billion contract, that's 10% of my economy. So what you're doing is that you're selling a percentage of your economy, and then you're going to be making that 10% in your growth. So you're growing that sector by selling it to another country. So what you have to consider is that when you make these contracts, you cannot make them too big. Do not make those contracts more than 5% of your economy. If you make it more than 5%, it's going to mess up your entire shebang because you are going to be having to deal with the consequences of inflation. So the biggest thing that you have to know is don't sign a contract that is more than 5 to 10% of your economy. So that is not a bug. That is just more of a gameplay mechanic, I guess. Wow, we need to play I might actually do a Turkey series. We might actually do a return to the Turkey series right here. 41.38% inflation in Turkey right now. We're actually going to go ahead and schedule a meeting with the Republic. See, electricity surplus 929. We were at like 940 like last month. If this was the previous edition, we would have actually seen this surplus at, it'd probably be at like 700 by now. Some bugs sound like a skill issue to me or massive abuse of God and spite. And that's what I try to tell people, is that I really, a lot of times, I don't think that these things are... Oh, crap, hang on. I really don't think that a lot of bugs that people talk about or complain about are because of the game being buggy. I really, honestly, a lot of times think that it's because people don't understand the mechanics of the game. Also, we got rid of both the U.S. Patriotic Front and the Jihadist Caliphate. Of course, some bugs are for real. Yeah, of course the bugs are real, and I'm not telling people. And I got into a little bit of hot water when I made this post on my community tab, and maybe some of you guys saw it, where I basically said Eversim could fix every single bug, and Eversim could fix every single bug, and they would still be told that they're a buggy game. And I swear to God, there's like a handful of people that I've seen call the 2023 edition a buggy mess, even though they haven't played it. It's just the same game every year. Because it's not a new game. That's the thing. That is the thing that you have to realize about this game. It's not the same. It's not a brand new game every year. It's a brand new edition of the same game. Why do a lot of people think that this game is gonna be different? Why do they, like, where is the discrepancy happening where people are expecting this to be a brand new video game every year? They're not charging you the same price for every single game. We're going to do 3,500 megatons by 2030, and we are going to do carbon neutrality by 2045. If it's ever coming, lol. Yeah, I've already gotten confirmation that it will be coming. It very much will be. Mega offshore. These things are actually efficient as hell, dude. Mega onshore, mega offshore. Uh-oh. No. No, it won't let me place them. Why is it telling me that I... Oh, it's... Oh, okay. I got scared there. I was like, why is it not letting me do this? Mega offshore win. Okay. So if you guys ever run into that problem, it's because you're clicked on a different province in another country. I've done that like 2 times, and I would get scared that it's a bug, and then I would be like, wait, no, it's not. PG ignoring us. No, I'm just concentrating on the gameplay and commentating, you know. I love these mega offshore wind farms. I love them. They actually are the most efficient electricity source that we have in this game now, other than nuclear. Very, very efficient. Now, mega onshore, I don't know. Let's actually try. What I want is a color-coded map where we can see where to place these things, especially when it comes to wind. I'll actually email him. I'm gonna email him. I'm gonna send him an email, and I'm gonna ask him saying, where do we put these things? And if you can, and I'm gonna ask him too. Can you please send me a map of the oil deposits?
Very. Our
Come on, Turkey. Come on, Turkey. All right, let's do a trade agreement with Turkey. We're gonna do 89. This game kind of proves that flat Earth is real. Yes. Oh man, I never even thought about that. You got me there, brother. You got me there. Okay, I'm gonna say this real quick. I don't know when this game will come out on Steam. I don't know. Stop asking me. I'm just kidding. No, but a lot of people keep asking me that, and I'm just like, I don't know. Leave me alone. God, I am consuming 631 million tons of steel. The Turkish economy is not exactly the biggest. What I'll actually do is, I guess I'm going to ask for the importation of some workers. Or just the public health problems, pollution, blah, 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 blah.
On behalf of my ministry,
The vote was held.
An Immigration and Nationality Act has been passed, and then what we also need to do is we need to go over to immigration, we need to go to legislation, and then we need to carry out a massive regularization attempt on the situation. So this is going to bring us down to about 10 million illegal immigrants, and then what I really don't want to do, but I'm going to go ahead and try it, is we're going to do a massive deportation operation on the situation. I don't want to do that, but I need to get a cap on the situation. 1.1 million illegal... Whew! What? Ahem. 1.18 million Hispanic people came out on part of the Hispanic community and said that they don't like this. Man, that clip's gonna come back to haunt me. I'm gonna be somewhere like deep in politics, and that clip is gonna come back on me. Turkey accepted my immigration agreement. Did y'all ever notice that like you cannot like just swarm them anymore?
The rebels. We have subdued them.
And then the other thing is that the justice tab, and that's actually what else I needed to talk about. The justice tab is fixed, so it no longer crashes whenever you mess with it. And then so let's actually talk about justice real quick. So we have a bunch of stuff that's kind of the same, and then so we have the balance of power between the state and the states and the Department of Justice. The authority to supervise the application of the laws in the country. Constitution advises the independence of the judicial institution, however, it operates in impartiality and settling disputes. The question of independence is only the power capable of judging the legislative, which drafts and votes the laws, and the executive, which implements them, and thus the primordial importance in all states. And total independence, high court judges appointed by the state, control measures for judges, and judges completely under state control. And then we have things like the banning of the death penalty. Anytime you see this, by the way, it says decree is not passed by parliament. So essentially this is saying that this is an executive action, so that you don't need to pass it through parliament in order to get it done. We have amnesty, we have arms sales, specific criminalization of street harassment. We have the determination of the severity of punishment. So essentially this is the punishment severity level has an impact on the crime rate, with the potential perpetrators being strongly deterred from action in light of the risk of facing heavier sentences. The citizen is very focused on the idea of justice and the just proportionality of punishments according to the crime. Punishments that are determined to be too harsh will be considered an attack on liberties. So this is the average length of imprisonment imposed for aggravated robbery. I really hope they're going to be increasing this to, and I don't know if this is years or if this is months. It's not months. Aggravated robbery is 16 years. Which, I mean, that's a lot for aggravated robbery. Yeah, they need to expand the severity of punishments. They really need to. I want to see murder. I want to see rape. I want to see all of these other kinds of crimes. So that would be very good for them to do that. That way we can determine the severity of those kinds of punishments instead of just aggravated robbery. We have the standing in accordance with the Convention Against Torture. So this essentially has 5 different options. Passed in 1987, the Convention Against Torture is an international treaty under the leadership of the United Nations, which calls upon countries to stand against torture and acts of cruelty. There is a distinction between the signatory country who intends to act and a ratifying country who is legally obliged to enforce the convention. An additional optional protocol passed in 2006 established a system of regular visits to incarceration sites by independent national and international agencies. Yo, family show PG. Well, yeah, family show, and I'm about to show you one of the funniest ones here. So we have not signed, and then convention signed but not ratified. We have convention signed and ratified, but optional protocol not signed. We have convention and optional protocol signed, but the protocol is not ratified. And then we have the convention and optional protocol signed and ratified in both instances. And then we have regulate the use of facial recognition in public places. So we have, over the years, facial recognition has become more and more effective, used in security, especially in the battle against terrorism and criminal activity. This technology is still controversial and can be considered an intrusion of privacy. The absence of consent from identified citizens, the use of their biometric data, and the potential analysis errors all remain unresolved issues to this day. You have unauthorized, so basically it's just completely banned and you cannot use facial recognition at all in your country. We have limited to sensitive areas, which is nuclear security, airports, etc. And then we have the one that is legalized in the United States, which is limited to sensitive and high traffic areas such as neighborhoods, tourist spots, and stadiums. And then we have no restrictions. So essentially you can use facial recognition in any case whatsoever. And then we have the implementation of a social credit system. Social credit consists of the government assigning points to each citizen of the country based on their civic mindedness. These points can be increased or decreased and can lead to rewards or sanctions or restrictions, for example, access to bank credit or the possibility of traveling by train or airplane. Social credit is a system to control the population which will run counter to individual liberties, privacy, and the principle of equality among individuals. Very much know that this is probably a thing in China. And then we have laws relating to children. So we have prohibition on corporal punishment. The law prohibiting disciplinary violence was passed in Sweden in 1979. Other countries in Northern Europe have also followed this movement. Later, this abolition spread to other continents. This legislative framework covers both educational and family environment. Okay, so now I know for a fact that it says it is covering educational and family. Various studies show that the corporal punishment of children can cause long-lasting physical and psychological damage along with the development of emotional and behavioral problems or low self-esteem. Moreover, children can have a tendency to reproduce these actions in adulthood. And then we have the setting of the age of criminal responsibility. The age of criminal responsibility is the age below which a child is not held responsible for their actions under the penal code and when they cannot demonstrate discernment. Thus, the courts turn them over to a system specifically for minors in which, depending on the gravity of the act committed, can take disciplinary measures, which is placement into a center for minors, civic training course, etc., or medical for care and treatment, and then or even administrative sanctions, barred from certain places, they have curfews, etc. And then we have the last one, which is probably the most hilarious one. The age of sexual consent. The age of sexual consent is the age at which a person is considered sufficiently mature enough to consent to activity. This legislation is designed to protect children from sexual abuse in certain Muslim countries, especially in the Middle East. It corresponds to the legal age of marriage, which is often very low. So you can raise this all the way up to the age of 20, or you can take an even weirder route. Yeah, I don't know. I still need to make never sim quality content on this. Which the reason that you're able to see it go this low is because if you're like in a country where it's very, very low, or it's not even there, because I believe there is like a handful of countries maybe where like it's extremely low. They have to be able to replicate that. That way you can actually, whenever you come in as those countries, you can reform those countries and increase them. So if their age of consent is around here or here, then you're like, okay, that's really bad. So let's go ahead and increase it to like 16, 17, or 18, which is around a very normal age for Western countries. Usually in the United States, it ranges between 16 and 18. The federal age in the United States, the federal, like whenever it has to do with federal law, is 18. Vosh be like, so if you're wondering why that law is in there, it's mainly because of also this. We have a children and youth section now in the game where we can have all of these that relate to children and everything like that. We have the fight against pedophilia, which is basically to fight this metric right here, which is the age of number of children under the age of 15 which are engaged in that. And wow, look at India. Look at India right there. That is horrible. And then we also have legislation which has to do with this. So then we have the censoring depiction of violence, erotica, and then we have the legal voting age, legal age of alcohol consumption, which, by the way, you can reduce to the age of 3. You have the maximum school age, you have prohibition, and then all the other laws that I discussed before. Which, speaking of, we will go ahead and start increasing some funding to children. Yeah, 1 million. Jesus Christ. And actually, to fight the prostitution metric, we are actually going to go ahead and increase the Vice Squad to full funding.
The theory.
And the other cool thing, by the way, is when you're building infrastructure projects like high-speed rail lines, what you actually have now is this yellow beam that shows that these things are under construction. I think this was actually maybe to stop, like, whenever you would build them and they would still be under construction and you'd see trains running in between the cities, even though they're not supposed to be existing. Why is there not a highway leading to Los Angeles? Is there any benefit of creating high-speed train in this game, PG? Economic growth and economic activity mostly is the biggest thing, and plus it's very much a modernization of your infrastructure lines. High-speed rail is a very efficient way of getting from city to city, and especially it's because this game is mostly about your role-playing as whatever country. So it's like you're making out a plan to recover your country in like 10 years or something like that. And I'm like, okay, in order to do that, I would like to start developing infrastructure. To develop infrastructure, you need to start building highways, and the best way to do it, if you have a large country, is to start building high-speed rail lines which can connect your cities. And the best way, and I'm pretty much a big advocate of high-speed rail. Texas is actually building a high-speed rail line between Dallas and Houston. And I mean, this is like a 4-hour horrible drive, by the way. Very, very, very horrible drive. And they're going to cut it down to about 90 minutes. I like how it's Los Angeles to Hanoi. Guys, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you guys want to see more content like this, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss anything whenever I do make it to the channel.
according to
Oh, actually, let me see if they fix this bug. I really don't think anyone mentioned it. I don't know why it's doing that. No one mentioned it. Damn it.
the preparation.
The theory that's the bill has
Does high-speed rail boost the rail sector, or is it just abstract? Railway construction. I'd have to actually test that. We are up about $4 billion, $3 billion in railway construction, but our profits are actually going down. I'll actually do the $3 billion subsidy to the railway construction sector. Actually, since they consume electricity, I'm actually gonna lower this to about 1 billion. Million, billion. Increase the company turnover tax to 10%. 8.25 is actually pretty good.
Our services.
Yeah, if I want to get industrial pollution. Based on the principle of polluters should pay in proportional to the extent the pollution caused by economic activity, industrial and household waste, atmospheric pollution, and noise pollution. This is intended to deter polluting practices. But what is the difference between that and carbon? The tax taxes the emissions. It directly taxes the emissions of carbon dioxide, proportional, responsible for a significant portion of the rise in temperatures. It's intended to discourage the use of fossil fuels and to bring about the gradual changes in behaviors and processes of manufacturers, companies, and private citizens. Therefore, the amount of should increase over the years to align with the environmental objectives. In France, it's included in various energy taxes. So could I start off with the $10 carbon tax? Industrial pollution tax will decrease your growth. Don't do it. Well, that's why I am using it, is because industrial pollution tax, it's more of a way to kind of like keep growth on a leash. So that's what I'm doing with it. If you ever see me using it, I know for a fact that it does that, because I remember there were several times where I even have an Eversim quality content on it where I basically increased it to 1% and it lowered my economic growth by 10%. So the reason I use industrial pollution tax is to control growth. Financial transaction tax, pollution tax, both of those have extremely efficient controls on growth. But Thank you for reminding me about the carbon tax, because I would actually like to start getting in line with our objectives for 2030. Which, the more I start to realize, the more I'm starting to realize that the game is getting closer to 2030, and I have a very small amount of time, very small time window to start to try to align with my objectives for 2045. 30 is good too. I will increase it to 30 maybe after the election.
The bill.
You can increase carbon tax to the max and it won't affect growth, really? Carbon tax doesn't have any sort of effect on growth? I didn't know that. I never use carbon taxes. But yeah, like, so carbon tax, I mean, hell, go ahead and use that for the issue of what's going on foreign policy. All right, so we did all of that in high risk situation. Regularization of illegal immigrants has passed and then escorted back to the borders. 717,000 people have been deported. Expatriations unfolded as anticipated and without major incidents. I won't hide from you that police had to use force sometimes to subdue people or to neutralize support communities. But all in all, there are no problems. The 777,000 people included in the decree left the country. That's not a decision I like to take lightly. I don't like to do that. I don't like to enact those kinds of policies. I'm actually very lax whenever it comes to immigration. But because of the new situation with all of this, with the new immigration features, there has to be some sort of thing to be done. Illegal immigrants. Let's go ahead and look at the numerical values. So we're going to do Guatemala. We're going to do Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras, and Cuba. So let's go down here. Guatemala. Issuance of visas, tightly controlled with quota. El Salvador, tightly controlled. Just because Nicaragua is not really the best in relations with me, we are going to help them out. We're going to do a stricter policy on Nicaragua. $1 billion to Costa Rica to help them with this earthquake disaster. Tightly controlled with quota on Cuba. And then, so since the Dominican Republic is going to be some sort of like military outpost for me, we're actually going to go ahead and move over to them, and we're going to call for a treaty with them. Importation, receive and detain. Detain asylum seekers, legal or illegal, in order to pass through and proceed to the United States through request for asylum. We're going to do all of this, and we're going to max fund it. Or I actually might do all of it except the reception and the detaining of Haitian immigrants, or Dominican immigrants.
The decree takes it.
Your citizens that illegally enter our country do not represent a significant flow. See, that's actually bugged. But because I'm not asking. Oh, look at that. China put carbon nanofiber onto public domain. Oh, that means they that means they would have or maybe it's like one of those, yeah. Whereas nuclear fission, so publishing. Which actually, I finally have the difference between patenting and publishing. And I probably already talked about this before. So if I come over to long haul civil plane. So patenting, obviously, a lot of you guys, maybe I don't need to explain patenting, but just because I'm talking about both of them. For the moment, the long haul civil plane is a private national industry. So basically, this means that if whenever you discover it and you don't do anything, you just kind of X out of it or hit cancel. That basically makes it where it's like a national secret. You're not going to do anything to put that on the market. So you're only using it in your own national processes and economy. If you patent it, it makes it public and then enables your companies to sell that technology abroad. But if you want to basically say, this is a good thing that we can try to have in the public domain. Public domain basically means there's no one that owns the property, no one owns the rights to it, and that every single country in the world can use it to their own whim and make money off of that technology. So if I wanted to do this for a long-haul civil plane, I can make this the public domain, and every single country in the world will be able to manufacture and produce their own planes. But it's not, just like you said, it's you give it for free. It's not that you're giving it for free. That's actually the biggest thing. Because I had to read this for a second and I was like, it kind of like clicked with me and I was like, oh, that's what that means. Because it says right here, public domain. So that's the thing about it. You're not selling it for free. You're putting it into the public domain so every single country can use it to their own whim and make that money for themselves. So it's basically, this is what you want to do for anything that is of global interest, basically. So like antiviral treatment, you would want to publish that. You would want to give them the opportunity to make that own process themselves. 10 gigabyte internet, that way the world can become more connected. Prime numbers formula is already published whenever you find it. And yeah, that's the other thing. Patenting, you get royalties off of it. So when someone else uses that technology, you can make money off of it. But publishing, you do not get royalties off of it because it is in the public domain. Great Lakes perspective. Oh, that's what I was going to do. Dominican Republic, we're going to go over here, create a military alliance. We're going to, oh, we already have it. So let's go ahead and ask them for full access rights to the Dominican Republic. And we are going to ask to place some troops inside of one of their bases. Mexico wants to sell me some stuff. Why don't I want to sell something they don't even have the adequate production of? We're going to refuse that. Come on, Dominica. We're gonna invite the president of the Dominican Republic for a meeting. Carbon tax has been passed. So if we patent a new fighter plane technology, then they will be able to reproduce and sell planes, and we will get royalties off of that. Yes. Do we really get royalties, though? That's the question. I've never... Well, actually, it might be this one. Other tax revenues that could be included in that. I'm getting a phone call real quick. I'll be right back.
Our government.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Meeting with the Dominican president.
No problem. The theory.
Why does this say incorrect date?
One of my men succeeded in infiltrating.
Speaking of cigarette taxes, we're actually going to pass a funny law, which I will be doing in every single gameplay because I absolutely hate the things. We're going to send 4,500 troops to the Dominican Republic. So what I just signed, by the way, we don't have any bases that we can use. Basically, there's an option right here. So if I go over to military operations, create a military alliance. Wait, I thought I signed it. Didn't my defense secretary literally say this?
Our governmental
What? They added the Prime Minister of Israel and the President of Belarus. Yes, they did. So and I totally forgot that I need to go over the fix list. So BB is back. Konstantin Nehan Yatau. That's pretty goddamn close. But yeah, BB is back in the game, and this is a long time coming. We got ya boy Felix Bukarenko in the game now. It's my boy right there, buddy. I actually hate him more than Putin. Contract accepted. There we go. So, bulleting authorization, basically you'll see what this does in a second. This essentially gives me the opportunity to place troops in the Dominican Republic. Wait, what? Bro, it keeps canceling itself. Okay, whatever. Basically what that does, and I have this opportunity in other countries, and I already have this right here with Finland. Essentially what this does is it basically allows you to place troops in your other countries without having to build a base. So this is a international military base. So like here, I can come over and I can place 2,800. We'll actually do 3,000 just to kind of be a little more accurate. Partial dismantlement. And this is essentially a military, international military base. And then what it does is that it basically allows me to have troops in other countries without having to spend the time and money to build that base. So like here, I do have some permanent military installations in Finland that are dedicatingly just owned by the United States. So I have an Air Force base up here in the north next to Norway. I have a air station south outside of Helsinki, and I have a pretty large military base in the dead center of Finland, a little bit away from the border. But I have about 21,000 troops placed in Finland right now.
that says if E1 doesn't like E2 and
Cheating bugs the game, yeah. That's why I never cheat. Cheating does bug out the game a lot. Can you use cheats to change Iraq to democracy? I don't have God and Spy.
succeeded in infiltrating key. One of my
Wow, look at that actually. Look how aggressively it was going up, and then now look how slowly undocumented immigrants are going up. Bo Jiden wakes up. Read the name of the president of Belarus. I already did. My boy Felix Bukarenko. My boy, my main man, my main boy, my buddy boy. All right, so 1.27 million immigrants from the territory. In 2022, we had 17.6% that were deportation, and now 75% of the 1.27 million are on their way out because of deportation. And illegal immigration growth is actually a lot slower now. And the biggest thing to actually take into consideration now that immigration has been completely reworked, essentially what this does right here. So let's go over to massive regularization. Massive regularization operation is for any undocumented immigrants residing in the territory at the beginning of the year, having been employed for at least 1 year. So essentially what this did before is that there were three options. You could do it by criteria, you could do it by all of them, or you could do it by those that have been in the country for 5 years. This is a very outdated look at amnesty. So essentially what this does now, it's the end of the year, so we're gonna have to take into consideration what's going on. This is intended to stimulate and aid economic sectors that employ many illegal workers, which is in construction, large farms, etc. Thus, these regularized immigrants will no longer be deported to their country of origin. It is ineffective to launch multiple regularization campaigns in succession. It takes time for the number of immigrants that are eligible for regularization to replenish itself. So you notice that I actually clicked it and it said 90,000 eligible illegal immigrants, and then now it's at 400,000. Can Japan get immigrants now? I actually tried this because I was actually very interested to see how a Japan gameplay could go through. And you still kind of have some sort of a issue where it's trying to draw immigrants in, even though I made their immigration system extremely lax. So I need to maybe have some sort of strat when it comes to Japan, whenever it comes to immigration. Can you show the Schengen, NATO, and European Union from 2023 to 2025? NATO first. Finland starts out in NATO at the very beginning of the game. Sweden is actually scripted to join. At some point, they actually do have like an application that goes through, and the one time that I actually got it actually saw them enter. The only new NATO member that we have right now is Bosnia and Herzegovina. Bosnia and Herzegovina joined NATO about a couple of months ago in the game. So they're the only brand new NATO member as of the beginning of the game. You actually see Bosnia and Herzegovina is the only new member right now. Let's go over to health. Let's go to legislation. And then we have a brand new law right here, which is called the Regulation on the Prohibition of Smoking. Tobacco is a risk factor for many illnesses, cancers, heart disease, and respiratory disease, notably in 85% of lung cancer cases. Prohibitions on smoking are implemented to protect the health of smokers and also non-smokers by reducing their exposure to cigarette smoke. So we have three different options. We have the prohibition. We have no national anti-tobacco legislation, which decisions are made at the local level. We have the prohibition in all indoor public spaces, except for certain places, possibly with a reserved smoking area, which is restaurants, malls, and airports. And then we also have prohibited in all indoor public spaces. I'll actually look up the Wikipedia article on this. It's called a smoking ban, smoke-free laws, or public policies including criminal laws, and Jesus Christ. Rationale, passive smoking. Because it really reduces the air quality. And that's actually the plan here, is that I am going to have a very strict anti-smoking policy. Now, should I go for all indoor public spaces except for certain spaces? Or should I just go for an all-out ban? Because that's actually what I did in the previous gameplay. Let people smoke in bars again, man. We're going to go for indoor public spaces at first. We actually have my thumbnail, my actual official thumbnail. If I can get this thing to work. We're going to update the thumbnail real quick. Thank you so much, Mr. Bayp. My thumbnail guy. He makes some of the best thumbnails I have ever gotten. I'm very glad to have him on my YouTube team now. Anti-smoking policy should seriously increase the cost of all healthcare spending. How come? And Carnage, I will definitely get you the payment as soon as I'm done with this stream. Let's actually see. Heart disease, tobacco inactivity, heart disease, respiratory disease. We'll actually watch the effects of that smoking ban go into effect. Presidential election, start of the primaries. Go ahead and throw our hat in the ring. The economy grew at 5%, and let's see. 921 electricity surplus right now. So very, very, very much changed whenever it comes to energy production or energy consumption, which, and again, it's kind of like a double-edged sword because, yeah, Jesus Christ, what's going on here? It's actually, it is very much a double-edged sword because it's like, yeah, there had to be more of a realistic standpoint whenever it comes to your economy growing and stuff, but just like PTK said, you know, it's not that hard to kind of imagine a 5 to 10% increase of your electricity consumption if your economy is growing at 5%. And I'm like, I understand that, and I would like that, but it wasn't growing at 10%. It was growing at like 20 to 80% by the end of the year. And I mean, I was having to dish out trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars on fusion nuclear power plants to make up for that. We'll actually dismantle fossil energy plants. And then we're going to go for another 5 third-generation nuclear plants. Have you ever seen the Chinese AI declare war on Taiwan? I think once. Hey, GGGHVV, whatever your name is. I understand you want me to show things off, but don't spam it, please.
A governmental cell informed me that it has
And mods that are in the chat, if anyone starts doing that, just go ahead and time them out. Don't ban them from the stream, but time them out. So I'm just giving you a warning, HVV. Don't spam, please. So I'll go ahead and show you what the Schengen area looks like, which actually I needed to because I haven't shown off the Schengen area. But again, don't spam.
Our scientific cell infiltrated an important.
Support the Syrian rebels. Why? Us supporting rebels always kind of gets us into a little bit of a rut, doesn't it? Fueled micro battery. We'll go ahead and patent that. Is there even a... Yeah, the Syrian civil war is actually still going on. I think at the start of the game, the Syrian civil war is actually... There's not really that much of a war going on. Which actually, the Syrian Brethren of Islam, they're not exactly the type of group we would like to get in. Except, I mean, we could start funding the Kurds, but...
1 week.
I think I'm going to buy the game for the first time. Any tips? But it does look complex. Is there a tutorial? Their tutorials suck on the game. I would very much recommend looking at my tutorials. All right, so legislation on the prohibition of smoking. Let's go over here. Let's go there. And let's see what the immediate effects of this have on a heart disease. It's going to be heart disease, respiratory disease, maybe other types of cancer. Yeah, tobacco. Is there lung disease? Lung cancer, there it is. I like how cannabis has a effect on lung cancer. Did they add a Wikipedia to all of these? Huh, they did. Can you do a funny to people with the Secret Service? Yeah. Ah, that's what I need to be doing. Hang on. Let's go to aluminum. What do you need? Bauxite, water supply networks, and electricity. We're going to ask Brazil for a meeting. We need some bauxite. And we're going to see if they have some uranium too. Because I actually had an agreement with the Kazakhstanis, with Kazakhstan. Oh, that's why. So their production for some reason went down. So because I have a sufficient amount of production now, I'm going to sign for 10,000 tons of uranium. That way it leaves them a little bit of room just in case their production goes down or their consumption starts to go up.
The theory.
Although
And then Brazil, I want some bauxite. I'm pretty sure there's another raw material I can buy from them as well. Cereals. Copper? No. What about fowl? Yeah, I could actually buy some fowl from them. 835, and then we're gonna buy one more raw material from them. 82 nickel. Nah. What's the level of freedom of opinion or expression? I don't know. Rare earth oxides were actually pretty good on, because we actually subsidized the shit out of it, and we are good. Utility vehicle construction. How much would that be? Jesus Christ. Lady Mana, how are you? Railway construction. I actually have a surplus on that. Rice. Sodas? Get that famous Brazilian soda. What about wine? No, we don't need wine. Diamonds? No. We could actually, we should find a diamond supplier. We're gonna order probably at least like 1,000 tons of, or is it million carats? Huh, it's in carats. That's funny. What about gold? We're just equal with gold right now. So I guess we're gonna order 20 tons of gold. Negotiate. So bauxite, we're at 52. We're gonna go to 49. Foul, we're gonna go to. Actually, we can agree on 1,000, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. And $31 million per ton of gold. All right, we can actually agree to this agreement. So let's go ahead and call this the Sao Paulo Agreement, and we are going to. This is 467 to 1 billion. That's about 1.5 million, and then added on. That is about $2.1 billion for this agreement. Let's go ahead and negotiate this. It has been signed, and we are expiring in 2029. Agreement negotiation 10. I can agree. I can agree to this. Yeah, their production of uranium is going down.
The theory that says
Speaking of reestablishing relations with Syria, issuance of visas and tightly controlled with quota. No, no. Why? Strong suspicions that the president of Brazil is about to initiate a nuclear weapons program. Please come to Brazil or else. Thinking about nationalizing the uranium sector. My intention whenever I ever nationalize is always to, like, hand it over to the private sector in due time. You can make a ton of money off of it. The only things that I don't like to do when it comes to that, I like to nationalize like the nuclear power plant sector, and especially whenever I'm going to go after fusion nuclear power. I'm very much going to nationalize that because I did not nationalize it last time and I lost out on so much money.
The bill has been. The bill has been voted on.
All right, let's see what that has an immediate effect on my growth.
This theory is. Our governmental cell informed me. This theory.
Really hope a competition for this game appears. Buddy, do I have some news for you? It's called World Warfare and Economics.
Our
Jesus Christ, why is he Uzbekistan has the next elections in 2030? What the hell?
We now have.
we rocked it.
Or what's the current military situation in Ukraine right now? The war's been going on for 2 years now. What is it? Strategic. Russia currently occupies no territory in Ukraine. Wait. What? The war ended. When did the war end? Nice, let's go. The Ukrainians beat the Russians and liberated all of the land that was occupied except for Crimea. Oh my god, Zaporizhia is just completely gone. I can't imagine how expensive this reconstruction is. What is their debt to GDP? 81%. I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be like 150 within the next like 2 years. All right, so the war's done. The war is done. We're going to go ahead and get an immediate meeting with President Zelensky. We're going to start deploying U.S. troops to Ukraine. We're going to propose an alliance with them. We're going to ask that they give us full rights. And we're going to ask for 5 bases in Ukraine. Come on. Come on, dude. Cool.
It hit hard. Transportation is paralyzed.
Wait.
Faced with the unacceptable attitude of this country, I suggest that you break off all diplomatic ties with it and close the 2 embassies.
What did they do? Why is it asking me to break off relations with Russia? What?
The fire's raging.
They're not at war. Well, no. Wait, someone's saying, I think that means peace with the Ukraine is probably scripted. No, it's not, because I know, because this is the second time that I've done a playthrough, and the other time that I played, and you can actually, I think you can go back to the previous stream that I had. It ended completely differently. West Donbass, East Donbass, and Zaporizhia were all ceded to Russia. Russia had complete control over the entirety of eastern Ukraine except for Kherson. So, this is definitely not scripted. I know that for a fact because I've seen the war end before, and it did not end on Ukraine's terms at all.
Faced with the unacceptable attitude of this country, I suggest that you break off all diplomatic ties with it and close the 2 embassies.
So, should I? God, look at Blinken. Look how quality his face is. Should I break off relations with Russia, despite that the war has ended? Who's in power right now? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh my! Oh my! 42 days to the next election. We're getting involved. PG, who do you think is a better president, Biden or Trump? At this point, you if there's a lot of Trump people out there, they're not gonna like my answer. Played a million times and can't, off the top of my head, think of 2 games that went the same way. Yeah, see, there's a lot of replayability whenever it comes to this. Is that not every gameplay is going to go the exact same. Yeah, I liked Trump at first. I don't like him anymore. I don't. His presidency was the most disappointing, and frankly, he's just an idiot. Wait, production? Wow, look at that. Oh, that's actually probably because of the imports. Some things are scripted, other things are very random. Yeah. That's actually pretty close to how it works. It's scripted. Like GDP for example is scripted, but what it does is that it's really dependent on the types of actions you take. So it's scripted for your economy to grow at a certain pace, but it's also completely dependent on what you're doing. So if you sign a big ass contract, then that's going to completely throw off the thing, and then it's going to kind of like add to that scripted growth. Swedish membership application. Swedish envoys have placed a membership request with our organization. As a member state, you are invited to pronounce yourself. Do you accept the entry of this country? So let's go ahead and accept.
Our agents that have infiltrated this organization confirm their window of opportunity. It goes without saying that the operation is risky, but if...
No Swedes in NATO. No Swedes in NATO. No. Okay, why is it acting like Ukraine is at war whenever Ukraine is not at war? I'm very confused right now. There's no fighting.
Our governmental...
All right, let's see. Let's see what happened to NATO.
Incredible. Good morning.
The theory that says if...
Noted. Ah, so.
Putin is dead. Lavrov is the new president. I'm pretty sure he may have gotten thrown out. 175 days. What is 100 and... September 12th. September 12th, so go to newspapers, go back to September. So this is when Russia... Belarus. It had to be connected to somehow the... Essentially what happened is that Russia and Belarus had a small conflict. And so maybe it was related to that. And it really shouldn't have killed that many people because I didn't really notice that it did. So so it's under a treaty now, so they signed a peace agreement. 75,000 Ukrainians died in this war and 176,000 Russians died. Whoa. They now have 29,000. Try maybe September 11th. Okay, I'll check September 11th real quick.
After numerous attempts at phishing, we have succeeded in hacking their servers. Their confidential documents will be made public online with false information. We'll also drain their bank accounts. This will hurt their party right in the middle of the electoral campaign.
PG can't hear you. Wait, what? You should be able to hear me. Let me check. Can you guys hear me? Never mind, my internet's spurred out. Okay, cool.
Good morning. I'd be our most
Bro got that Ukraine Wi-Fi, Jesus Christ. Bargain concluded, bargain concluded.
One of my men
Manage. Huh, we don't even have any agents in Belarus. Let's go ahead and change that. Approach political groups. Belarusian citizens movement. Political spying, manipulation of social media. Speaking of, I actually need to see land. So Ukraine. It's doing it again. Land. Ukraine. Let's build it around these minefields. We're gonna build this one south of Kyiv. We're going to build a second one outside the city of Kherson. Then we're going to do an air base and then a second air base what is it? City Kyiv, Kremenchuk, Sumy. We're gonna do one outside of Odessa. I'm still trying to work with these guys to let me build some bases. Because I want to build a permanent base. That's the plan.
The theory that said
We're gonna do a meeting with Taiwan, try to establish a military presence there before they saturate the whole thing with power plants. I like how there's an offshore wind turbine in the middle of the mountains. PG, why do you want to build bases in Indonesia? Game-wise, what does it offer you? Do you do not have, or is it just role-playing the current U.S. strategy in the Pacific? Both. The main thing is, yeah, to replicate the U.S. strategy, the pivot to Asia to kind of like establish a more permanent and large presence in the Asia Pacific, is the main thing. So game-wise, what does it offer you that you do not have? It offers me a more strategic position against China. It's kind of like the same thing. So yeah, it's more of a roleplay technique to kind of like, you know, replicate what's going on with the US pivot to Asia. And then at the same time, gameplay-wise, if something were to happen against China or North Korea or anything like that, I could have a very large presence in Southeast Asia and as well as Taiwan in order to respond to threats. My main one that I would like is that I want to establish a permanent presence, a strong presence in the Philippines. The Philippines is going to be an extremely important domino in this pivot, and they very much are being difficult with me about it. Current strategy of the U.S. basically aims to make the local countries the anchor of the U.S. alliance and against China. And I can't remember the specific name of the strategy, but it's basically like instead of focusing on U.S. presence, it's also to kind of, yeah, like it's kind of like forming a coalition before a coalition needs to be made. So it's like this really weird strategy where instead of focusing on US presence, and I do want a very strong US presence, it's basically like the countries are the wall. Confidential, so 2 nuclear missiles to Sweden. Did Sweden even join? Yes, they did. We now have a 33-member alliance. Make an alliance before it's needed. Yeah, that's essentially what the US policy is. PTK is rolling right now that Sweden is a part of NATO.
very kind.
The thing.
Okay, when is the next elections? Because I really don't understand why Duterte is still in power here. Because wasn't the elections in November? When was the elections? Oh, they were on May 9th. Holy shit, Manny Pacquiao ran for president? Manny Pacquiao is a senator? When was he active in boxing? To 2021. He competed from 1995 to 2021, so he was a senator of the Philippines while he was doing boxing. I didn't know that.
According to them,
Ooh.
our
Oh no. Huh, a third generation nuclear power plant had an accident. I need to start paying some of my loans.
The thing.
What is Meteor Operation? Meteor Operation is basically the attempt to disable a nuclear power plant by causing a meltdown. Oh wow, so true, so true. Kuwait. We could actually start a contract to import some oil. I have all these other contracts going right now, and I do not have anything about oil. Wait. Oh, they did. They got rid of them. So the plants are still there, but the radiation is gone. I didn't even notice that. Oh, that is cool. Finally. So you don't have like needless people dying from radiation poisoning even though they're not. Thank you, Eversim. Huh. I never freaking noticed that. I looked at the comments and I saw someone ask, he said, they removed the nuclear accident in Ukraine and Japan? And I looked and I was like, oh wow, they actually did. So the nuclear power plants are still there. The nuclear power plants are still there, but the radiation event is gone. The nuclear meltdown event is gone.
The thing.
Sure. Yeah. No problem.
I'm gonna save this real quick since I've gone so far. Just in case the game crashes. Would have been awful to lose all that. Wasn't Napoleon Corsican? Yes, he was. Have y'all seen the trailer for Napoleon? Honestly, I had no idea they were making that. And I'm excited for that movie.
The bill has...
Favorable regime change in Russia. What are our relations? Not too much of a change, but let's see who got into power. Wait, who's... Oh no. No! 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 The communists came into power. Why are the communists in power if they won 16% of the vote? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Hang on. Let me go back. So 1, 2, 3, 4? I don't know, maybe they did form a coalition. But if it was... Isn't there a second round? I think there's supposed to be a second round. Wait. No. 7 days? Yeah, she's been in power for 7 days. PG, this is Russia. Never ask why someone with 16% of the votes wins. You're right. I love that. I love that comment. That's my favorite comment. So actually, since the production, the consumption of electricity has changed, I can, with confidence, start to subsidize electric automobiles. We're going to do a $5 billion subsidy to electric automobiles. And we're going to do a $7.5 billion subsidy to utility vehicles. And I will exonerate utility vehicles. We're going to exonerate automobiles for a very short amount of time. There it is. How to make damn money in this game. Literally me. We're actually, since our debt is compared to GDP starting to go down, we're going to start investing a little bit more into high-speed rail. So we're going to build a line between Dallas, Texas, and Houston. We're going to complete the Texas Triangle is essentially what we're going to do. So Dallas to Houston, and then Dallas, Austin, Austin to San Antonio, San Antonio to Houston. And then San Antonio. That's Nuevo Laredo. We're going to do San Antonio to Laredo. actually with Mexico and Canada. We're gonna do transportation. We're gonna authorize trains and highways to be built between these territories. What is a massive regularization operation? Oh, thanks for reminding me. I need to go and carry it out. Regularization operation, it basically says that anyone that has been living inside of the territory illegally for 1 year will be subject to regularization, which basically means that they are no longer undocumented immigrants. It basically exempts them from being deported and starts to move them through the citizenship process. So it effectively makes them citizens, but they're not citizens yet. There's a difference between naturalization and regularization. Naturalization is the process of becoming a citizen. Regularization is the process of becoming an illegal or undocumented immigrant to a regularized immigrant, which is to essentially an immigrant.
Our agent.
Denmark. Subliminal messages in the media. And the Great Replacement Plan. See, the invasion of the reptilians one is basically you're making the entire country schizophrenic.
It's begun.
The theory that says
No! Come on, Indonesia. Really hope this doesn't dent their relations. Who is it? It's a religious communist. Dang it. Really hope that doesn't put a strain in our demands of what we want in Indonesia. Thank you so much, Edit Lord. Yeah, if you guys want to help out the channel, I got a Cash App that's available, and I also have the super chats. Really helps the channel out. Anyway, you guys can help out the channel. It's always amazing. But the best way that you guys can always help the channel out is by subscribing. If you don't subscribe, I would love to hit 10,000 subscribers So anytime you guys can subscribe to me. Janet Yellen just died. Oh my god, it's Elizabeth Warren. um... Start an OnlyFans bet.
The theory that says
This theory.
our governmental cell informs me.
We are going to attack.
Shit, that's what I need to be making.
A court?
Our governmental cell. The theory. theory...
Here, let me actually check this. When is the next Azerbaijani presidential election? God, 1,400 days. And actually, we've had a little bit of time. Not really a massive effect on lung cancer. Actually, a little bit right here. I want to make PG a meme, but I don't know the name of the template. It's like the one where the guy is inside hiding and all the guy that outside chanting the same thing. Are you talking about like the one where like the FBI is like raiding his house or something like that?
The theory...
I would like that meme. I would definitely post it on my community tab.
The theory...
It Lord, thank you so much for gifting a membership. That's actually the best way that you guys can support me. If you guys are able to, I will very much love it if you guys were to become members. Memberships are basically a monthly subscription. It's essentially my OnlyFans. It's a monthly subscription basically where you can support the channel. And then you're like 5 different tiers, ranging from like $1.99 to about like $24. Maybe I can make like a $50 tier or something like that.
The theory...
This game a lot less buggy than it used to be. Yeah, I've had a couple of major updates come out within the last like 48 hours. PGB based and invest in Brazil. Where is my US BRFTA? I know. Well, should I? Because Lula is developing a nuclear weapons program. Let me actually go and show you this. Gabe, I meant to show you this. I totally forgot. Scandal relating the head of state, secret files. Here it is. Development of a nuclear weapons program is in suspicions mode, but there is no proof of Leandro Duda developing nuclear weapons in Brazil. You have to continue to investigate. But yes, I do want a U.S. Brazil free trade agreement. Europa lander, imminent liftoff. Let's go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
Oh shit, I just forgot to check. No! Man, I had this realization right as the rocket started to launch, where I remember, because I really wanted this rocket to go as quick as possible. And so I moved it forward a year, and this actually may screw up the timeline that I wanted to get this rocket out to. The next launch window is in 2020. Yeah. I totally budged the launch window. Because I put it ahead of schedule by like a year. And or is the Aleda lander? Damn, bro. Damn. That's a clip, though. That is very much a clip. Where was that at? 3 hours. Wow, I've been streaming for 3 hours. I didn't even notice.
The theory that says if E1 doesn't like E2 and E2.
But yeah, so I had that realization. I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, okay. As soon as I was like, oh, imminent liftoff. Okay. And so I thought about it right as I was starting to think about it while it was on the launch pad. I'm thinking about it for a second, and I'm like, wait, hang on. Didn't that thing still say like there was a considerable amount of failure chance? And so I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, oh no. And so right as it started the launch, there's always a specific part where it blows up. And I knew it was gonna blow up at that point. And I was like, ah, shit. I was like, damn it. It's like, damn it. Where's the Gordo Space Telescope? Hang on, I got you one. Dragonfly. What is a need? Journey to Mars, 2033. When is 2031? Okay, so we actually have a little bit of time here. Mars 2020. So this needs another exploration robots. Don't forget to rename the JSC. I know, but I can't. I don't have JSC in here. I just have the Cape Canaveral. So I was thinking about renaming either Kennedy or Cape Canaveral, the Molly Cobb launch facility. So I think I'm just gonna rename Cape Canaveral to Molly Cobb. I'm trying to think of a name for this rover. What should I name it? Vogel Kaioken. Vogel Kaioken. Launch date 7/5/26. Danny Poolmobile. All right, so let's go over to Cape Canaveral. We're gonna call this the Molly Cobb Space Launch Facility. The Danny Poolmobile. And then, lastly, we're going to go over to the moon. We're going to set up a permanent outpost. Call it Jamestown. We're going to fund 75%. Actually, 70%. So we're spending $33 billion on this base. I know a lot of people are watching this going like, what are these references? Man. Meeting request. We're going to ask Japan to make a contribution. We're going to ask the United Kingdom to make a contribution. We're going to ask Norway make a contribution. We're going to ask Australia to make a contribution. We are going to ask Canada make a contribution. And South Korea? Well, that's South Korea. Really?
I'd be sure.
It's not here. Space research. Jamestown.
Our
Every
I don't understand.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna cancel all my meetings now. Erase. 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 And erase. How long will you stream today? I've been streaming for 3 hours. I'm probably gonna go on for like another 30 minutes. Because I am very hungry.
The population affected by the disaster is in a very big...
the theory.
Oh, that's what I need to do with Vietnam. Custom duties. We're gonna lower tariffs and trade barriers to Vietnam. That's how we get stronger relations.
The theory that
Anyway, if you guys were wondering what these references were, like Molly Cobb and Thomas Paine and everything like that, basically, these references are from a TV show on Apple TV. It's called For All Mankind. It's essentially a alternate history series in which, wow, $256 billion. It's an alternate history series. Essentially, it starts off with the Soviet Union landing on the moon first in June of 1969. And this essentially triggers a much larger scale space race than what happened in our timeline. And in order to... it kind of like has a completely different look at how the preceding decades or the subsequent decades play out. So like for example, like the Equal Rights Amendment in the United States is passed by like 1972, I think.
We will forget the stats. Our team did not even pass the first round.
Ah,
You could not expect anything.
flavorless.
Our sports
So, if you guys have Apple TV or access to it, or if you can find For All Mankind on there, like, very much, you guys should check out For All Mankind. We're gonna lower trade barriers to the Philippines as well. Because I totally forgot this is how I normally would be getting these free trade agreements going and increasing relations with these countries. Vietnam, I'm literally giving you $5 billion, and Philippines, I'm giving you like $10 billion. Give me a chance here. $991, $980. So I need to focus a little bit on paying down my debt.
Our aid.
Year of Culture, okay. Yeah, so I think I should have a student exchange program with them. No, I do not. Day of mourning, accepted, okay. Because we actually do have a considerable Vietnamese community. And I never use Year of Culture. Throughout the calendar year, cultural events are organized in the whole territory to discover or rediscover the cultural richness of the honored country. Besides reinforcing ties between the two countries and their people, the Year of Culture also contributes to better economic cooperation. Only happiness. Year of Vietnamese human rights are trampled to celebrate the dictatorship in this way is to promote the violation of human rights even more disgraceful. Yes, there we go. There we go. Dark green relations with Vietnam. That's exactly what... Oh, they just went light green again.
This deal.
Come on, Vietnam.
The commission has
I'm actually getting a ton of money off of the tobacco tax.
The theory.
Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream. We're getting up to the election period, and I'm gonna have to start getting ready to go somewhere after this. So I would very much not want to get caught up into an election. I'll probably just do the election after, like, kind of like privately, and move on from there. And maybe live stream tomorrow. I think I'll have some time to do it tomorrow. You can enter O again. That, I don't know what that's called, but I'm not German, so I don't I didn't really have to worry about that. But yeah, I did hear that on one of the change logs. You know, I kept saying that I was gonna go over the change logs, and I never went over the change logs. So before we go, I'll go ahead and go over this. I'm gonna save it, and then I'm gonna while it's saving, I'm gonna go over this. So the patch log for the 6.91 update, 6.92 was the energy fix. So, it says mega on and offshore, onshore wind farms included in electricity generation capacity. Basically, like beforehand, they were not being included in the capacity of the pie chart, where it kind of breaks them all up into smaller, like this. They were not being included in wind or solar power. Changed the GDPs for Iran and Cyprus. They corrected the crash on the Justice Panel. The changes to return conditions for war refugees. Unblocking of assignments and movements of units to NATO bases or shared cantonment bases. Basically, the bases where you signed that agreement, the bulleting authorization. You couldn't, like, transfer them. Like, I had to do it in some weird way, and sometimes it wouldn't even let me transfer anyone over there. So all of that's done. Update on the national service in Poland. Forced display of UN sessions in multi-countries when countries selected play is not on the Security Council. I guess, like, whenever there was a UN resolution or something and you were not a part of the Security Council, it was kind of forcing you to look at it for some reason. Grayed out God and Spy icon for spy network acceleration when the network is being set up. They added hypersonic missiles and shells to weapons donations. Added the ability to buy cannons on a black market. Addition of order receipt messages for drones, cannons, missiles, and shells. They added cities to Haiti. They corrected the crash when creating reform, which is something that I was telling them about. Basically, like, I would try to create a reform, and it would crash the game whenever I tried to add another law. Or whenever I would create a reform, and I would even try to click something, and then it would crash the game. They added the face of the Belarusian president, so Lukashenko is in the game. They added the Phoenix 3 elite fighter military technology for certain countries. Application of accelerated weapons deliveries with God and Spies also is for new weapons. The modification of the peace treaty algorithm to take into account militarily controlled territories. Correction to the ineffectiveness of trenches and mines on terrorist units. Repositioning of cities, which is like the city of Busan has been changed. And population updates for other cities, including Sydney, Johannesburg, etc. Corrections to conflict outcomes and the launch of extinguished conflicts. Added the use of the capital letter O with the 2 dots on top in German. Updated some military units in Germany, such as fighters, frigates, etc. Addition of the AI for the ECB interest rate for Eurozone countries if none of them is being played. Recalculation of the melting of the ice packs in the Ukrainian counteroffensive scenario. Adjustment of calculations for riots in countries played by the AI. Geothermal, biomass, wind, and solar data has been added to comparative maps of world energy production. Changes to the choice of defensive or offensive AI in conflict assistance. Adjustment to conspiracy theory extinction calculations. Correction to the scenario of a journalist being taken hostage abroad. Adjustment to the popularity losses when closing an embassy depending on the country concerned, and then there was miscellaneous corrections. Had an error with the European Union. If I changed the interest rate, I couldn't change the interest rate afterwards. So I think that probably should be. That's just well, I didn't see that. Is that an update 6.92? Is that where you saw that from? But anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and leave a like. Yeah. I totally am not the worst at whenever I try to sign off of these streams. Go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you guys want to see more content like this, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss anything whenever I do make it to the channel. And for those that are interested, go ahead and become a member of the channel if you guys want to help out this channel in any way possible. I also, for anyone living in the United States, I have a Cash App that's available if you guys want to help out the channel directly. And yeah, guys, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. See you next time. And I'll probably try to stream tomorrow. So do look forward to that if I do stream. I'll let you guys know. But yeah, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.